Hey guys, thanks for coming today. I hope everybody's having a good day. What a cute little boy, and he's just precious. Um, I've brought one of the protesters up today, bringing her up on panel to let her tell us her perspective, her experience, um, from her point of view, how she's being treated for one thing. And this is a very liquid case. And I know that there were some developments this morning about where the mother has moved to a hotel. So we're going to talk to her about that and just let her have the panel, have the floor, and let her have a platform to talk. Okay, so Savage Mama, hey.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much for interviewing with me and giving me the opportunity to hear from the perspective of a I know that y'all were having some trouble with some bullies, weren't you?
The neighbors. Directly right next to the Howells home, there is a neighbor that Dolly from Dolly Vision. He's been out there all week with Bullhorn Betty, and I mean they have not caused any ruckus other than this neighbor, and he did not like where I specifically parked, which was in the grass on the side of the road. He told me it was his property. So I moved my vehicle, and he got even more rowdier, and he was calling me names. So that's when him and Dolly got into it. That was kind of on his live yesterday, because Dolly was like, you can't talk to women that way.
Right. They're a violent household, aren't they?
It seems like the whole neighborhood is. Directly across the street from the Howells, from Quinton's home, there's a little old man, and he was like, step in my property and I'll show you, or I'll handle you with what I have in my pocket, referring
Holy
to
cow.
Yeah, that was great.
So are the cops coming out there like regularly, or are they camped out there?
They were out there for a little bit yesterday, and they told us that we could be out there and we could protest. We couldn't instigate the family, which was not our intentions on doing, which they were trying to get us to come into the property and, fight, but that wasn't going to happen. We're a bunch of adults out there. We just wanted our voices heard.
Right.
But the officers told us as long as we weren't in the road and obstructing traffic and we weren't on anybody's property, then we were fine. But
okay,
they stuck around for a little bit.
These people that were throwing food at you guys, what happened there?
So one of my friends came out because this story is really sat on her. She lost her child 2 days after birth to SIDS. She went home with her newborn, woke up, and her baby died, and she had to cry over this baby's casket. So of course she's hurt by this. Right. Apparently there's a neighbor out there that lives on the street. We didn't get her name. We only had her license plate. She didn't like that my friend had the bullhorn from Bullhorn Betty. She didn't like that she had it and that she was being loud, and she told her to shut up. So my friend said, I'm not going to be quiet. We're done being quiet. And the lady left and came back and got out of her car, talked to Dolly and Bullhorn Betty for a little bit. And then she got back into her car, left, and then came back by, threw eggs at my friend. And it actually it cut her. So
oh my gosh.
We called the cops, and she is now charged with battery.
All right. So you are getting respect from law.
Oh, yes. Yes,
that's
ma'am.
awesome.
And
that's great.
We're not saying that, Chatham County Police Department isn't doing, the best that they can. We believe they are, but do we think that Chief Hadley or Headley, I don't know how to say his name, do we think that he should have already had her arrested on some sort of charge? Yes, she should be arrested for violation of probation or child neglect or child endangerment. I mean, she's already admitted to using drugs, and she was spotted on Tybee Island last night drunk with her own mother.
Now, did y'all watch them leave? Were y'all there when they were pulling out and they came out and they undid the thingamabob and then they came out the gate? Were y'all there?
I was there when Billy Joe left on her motorcycle. They took down the end rope at the end of the driveway, I guess because they got tired of having to walk all the way down the driveway to undo it. Paul, the younger brother, he's like their gatekeeper, so he opens the gate. I was not there when Leilani left, but the gold truck with the camo lining that's on it, that seems to be her chauffeur. She came back by when I was there, but Leilani wasn't in the truck at the time, which means that she had already taken her wherever they were going. But Billy Joe did.
What sort of interaction is she having with you? Is she saying anything to you guys? The mom, Leilani, is she saying anything?
Leilani is not speaking.
Okay.
She has not spoke at all. No sympathy, no tears. Every time she's been spotted. I spotted her yesterday. I had to go into town, and I happened to ride by Quinton's house and by the dumpsters where she threw them and by the landfill because they're all right there. And I dropped by McDonald's. I had my 3-year-old with me, and she pulled up right next to me in that gold truck with the camo.
Does she hide her face?
No, not at all. I mean, she probably didn't know that I recognized her because they were pulling through the parking lot to avoid the red light. But it just sickens me that she's going about her life like she did nothing.
That happened to me in my daughter's case. He was caught with the shell casings in his lap, and they still gave him an ankle bracelet. So he was able to commit more crimes awaiting, and he was going to plead guilty. So I didn't understand why he was out. But so I wanted to ask, have you seen the grandmother, Leilani's mother? You have?
I seen Billy Joe leaving yesterday on her motorcycle when I pulled up.
That's right. You said that. And when I was watching earlier this morning on Dolly Vision and Jimmy Jams, I saw that they said that they had other children with them today.
They did. So the truck that has been chauffeuring Leilani around is Billy. From what I understand, it's Billy Joe's best friend, Ruth. And the guy that Dolly and Bullhorn Betty have been arguing with on Tybee this morning, the live video that they posted, the old man that's on there is Ruth's boyfriend or husband.
Okay.
So the girl holding the baby. Yeah, he's the boyfriend or husband. I don't know if they're married. We'll just say boyfriend. And the baby that they were holding must have been Ruth's baby because Zane and Sky. See, I'm from this area, so I have a couple of friends who are family of extended family, or however you want to put that. But the babies are in a good home. They were put in emergency temporary custody of another family member. They're safe, and they are not with Billy Joe, Tommy, Leilani, none of them. They are not with them, and Danny is in Atlanta. He has been cleared.
Well, that's good. What is it you would like us to hear? What would you like us to know?
About the case?
Yeah, anything that you want to share with us that you would like, your experience of it all.
She needs to be put in jail.
So if someone said, I wanted to, say, join the next protest with the next case, what do's and don'ts would you tell them?
Definitely don't fight with the family. I voiced my opinion yesterday, but I never want, the brother came outside, Paul, the youngest brother, and he sat on the front porch. And I mean, he instigated over and over and again. And some people fed into it, but I was there for a reason. I was there for Quinton. I wanted to be Quinton's voice because, the day that it happened, Quinton became all of our baby. He was ours. We were hopeful.
He is so cute.
So cute. And for this woman, I hate saying that, for her to feel so threatened by her own flesh and blood, somebody that she carried inside of her, she made, it's sick. And then she's out and she's getting drunk. She's partying. She's living like she has no responsibilities, like she did nothing. And, to me, it's making Chatham County, where we're from, look stupid because it's basically saying you can commit a crime, and until we have all of our evidence, you're good to walk and do as you please.
But this seems to be common now. I mean, I can name 5 cases, and they're scattered. It's not in one specific area. Why are we getting such a lackadaisy attitude from I don't understand.
I think it's more or less the fact that everybody watched the Casey Anthony case, and Florida, the law enforcement down there jumped into that case so quick that they didn't cover everything that they needed to, and every little loophole Casey Anthony was able to jump into.
Yeah.
And I mean, our chief did say we have one shot and one shot only at this case. So I think that they're making sure, it hasn't been released yet if they found any of his remains. I got a message yesterday between two people, a text message screenshot. They found some remains, but not enough for them to basically piece it together. I mean, we're talking about a major landfill in Savannah that has had trash piled on top of trash for a whole week before they started actually going into the landfill and searching.
Now they've halted service, obviously, to that area and roped it all off and are going through it very methodically, I would assume. And so what time frame are they giving y'all to hopefully find something? No idea at all? Are there dogs too?
Yesterday during the conference, they said that they had to go from the location of the dumpsters, which was actually only a mile, maybe a mile and a half from her house. It was in a trailer park around the corner, down the street and around the corner. They had to trace that dumpster because, unfortunately, what our trash trucks do here is if it's a dumpster, then it's compacted.
Oh no.
So he was compacted. And then they had to trace the truck that went there and did that service that day and what landfill they went to. And then they had to figure out what area to look. I don't think they have designated areas every single time on where to dump. So they said they had to bring in cadaver dogs. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they brought them in. They hit on the scent, and that led them to this specific area. And they went ahead and started doing the thorough search. They started Monday. They told us that this is not going to be a quick process, which I can't imagine it being that it's compacted trash. So which means that they're no longer looking for a body. They're looking for remains.
And what is the weather forecast for the next day or two? Do you know? Or is it going to be okay?
I think it is. It's actually been really nice. It was nice over the weekend, except for the fact that it's freezing cold. And I think that's what gets to the most of us is even though he is declared deceased, he's a little boy and it's cold. Mm-hmm. And his mother has no remorse, no sympathy, nothing for her own child laying out in a landfill.
It's my understanding she's not letting y'all leave animals and teddy bears. Is that right?
She has not stopped anybody from that. The grandmother actually, because they put up ropes so that people couldn't cross over. The grandmother, Billy Joe, went out and moved those ropes and set up a specific area for the memorial. And that memorial has grown significantly within the past week.
Wow. Well, I personally want to thank you for being there for him and being his voice. And I wanted to give you a platform so that, anything that you wanted to share with us or share with the family, feel free to do that now. And chat, if there's any questions y'all have for her, just put it down in chat and I'll ask her. So when y'all heard that she was partying last night, and after the story that you just shared with me, did she have a mental health background issues? Was she in care for anything? Because that's not normal behavior.
There were some leaked documents that stated, I believe it was the custody case that stated that Leilani suffered from anxiety and depression along with drug addiction, and that her anxiety and depression wasn't medically treated, which means she was self-medicating. But of course, everybody expected that to come out because that's the first thing that she's going to go to is, oh, I have anxiety and depression. But I have anxiety and depression too, and 3
Right.
kids, and mine are still here.
Well, I had seen in chat where people were asking, was it postpartum depression? Maybe
Somebody,
some
somebody,
postpartum psychosis, maybe.
somebody made a suggestion that it was, but if that was the fact, then why did she only target Quinton?
And she's methodical and hiding what she did, you know. I mean, I wonder if you're really in psychosis, are you able to hide it?
Yeah, right.
If you're really digging out, I would think that you're not thinking clearly enough to hide it. So to me, she was in the right frame of mind where she knew she had to hide what she did.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And she was able to hide it from her own boyfriend in the same house.
He was cleared. That's right. He was cleared. Okay.
He did a polygraph test. He actually did leave for work in the morning. They confirmed that he left for work. He did the polygraph. He passed. And Leilani refused the polygraph. And that's when she got a lawyer. So at that point in time, Danny questioned her innocence. And the detectives noticed that Danny obviously did not know what truly happened to this child.
Right, exactly.
So they removed him, and the detectives paid to put him in a hotel. And I confirmed what hotel he was staying in. My friend works in housekeeping there, and she said this is where he was, and he was here for 5 days. And detectives were in and out. Detectives paid for that hotel room, and then once his phone was cleared and everything was good, the detectives told him, get as far away as you can. And he did. He went to Atlanta. And from my understanding, him and his mother are going to start fighting for full custody of Sky, which is the 5-month-old.
So they had a full house living under this roof here. How many in all?
So it was Billy Joe and her husband, Tommy, Leilani, and her boyfriend, Danny, along with the 3 kids, and then Leilani's younger brother, Paul.
Okay. Is this a sprawled out home, would you say? Maybe 4 or 5 bedroom or just 3?
Somebody shared the details of that home because they just bought that home back in December of 2020, I believe. And I think it's either 4. There's 2 bedrooms on that second floor above the master bedroom. And then there's another bedroom downstairs. So I think it's 4 bedrooms.
And what did his bedroom look like? What were his sleeping conditions like?
Nobody confirmed that he had a bedroom. The only thing that we keep hearing about is playpen. And then Leilani on TikTok does have a video, and it shows one picture of him sleeping in a playpen. So I'm going to take it that was where he was designated to sleep.
Okay, I have a question here for you. .com says, Gypsy, ask Savage if she knows if the mother was caught on camera dumping the baby at the trailer court dumpster.
It was confirmed that she was caught on surveillance camera. That video was not put out yet, but Chief yesterday in the conference that he did confirm that they were led to this dumpster, their surveillance cameras, and that's how they found out that baby Quinton was no longer with us and where he was.
Have they taken phones?
Yes.
They did, okay. And they haven't returned them, I assume?
I don't think they returned Leilani's, but they did return Danny's and the rest of them. But Leilani's was kept for evidence.
Wow.
Leilani hasn't gotten her car back either.
They impounded that. Tell me about this babysitter and that whole blow up.
So in the beginning, I actually stood up for Billy Joe. I mean, I watched the video of her and the babysitter, and to me, it sounded like a grandmother who was not ready to face the fact that her daughter possibly killed her grandson, because you could tell that she obviously favoritized Quinton, the grandmother. So to me, it showed that she had a lot of hurt and she misunderstood the babysitter. But over the course of the last week and watching how she's reacted, I've seen messages between her and a couple people that I know. They sent me the screenshots when Billy Joe let it leak out that Leilani killed Quinton.
Right.
He's the reason that everybody found out before Chatham County Police Department or FBI could release the information that Quinton was deceased. She said, the person that I talked to said, how is Leilani doing with it? And she said, well, I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm going to stand behind my daughter and support her because she's my daughter and we'll get through this. And at that point in time, I lost all respect for her.
Right. This babysitter, is she violent too? I heard she had a record. What?
She's not violent, not at all. No,
okay.
She's very sweet. Do I kind of think that she should have reported more because she was the one caring for Quinton and Zane, and then when Sky came along, I think that she should have reported this to DFACS more times than what she says she did. I guess she said she reported it once or twice, or she told the grandmother, if you're watching these children and you're seeing continuous and worse abuse each day, then that means it's your responsibility to report this.
Right.
And
do you think she was intimidated?
I don't know. Maybe because, look at the way Billy Joel ran up into her house.
Yeah. So
it's funny
because she threatened her before.
Yeah. Somebody commented on one of my live videos and was like, y'all better watch out. Did you see? I'm like, that's funny because she just drove her motorcycle off. She's not intimidating any of us out here. She may have went after her because she already knew that this woman is obviously weak to her because she's just a sweetheart, and she was not going to do that to the crowd that was standing out in front of her house yesterday.
This blue thing that they brought out, is that for the family or you guys?
It's for the memorial. It's one of
That's
those
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
They got a pop-up canopy and they laid a tarp down so that way the teddy bears and toys and pictures and poems that people are bringing aren't laying on the ground. So they at least did that, but not Leilani.
Yeah. So when you see people like Bullhorn Betty or us YouTubers, us creators come down and into your neighborhood, what are your thoughts on that?
I was excited. I've been I live an hour away. My mom lives around the corner from Quinton's home, but I live an hour away, so it's not like I could be there every day. So being able to watch on live, keeping up with Dolly and Bullhorn, and then also just keeping up with Twitter and everything, because I've been invested in this case. This child was failed by the system, by everybody who was in that child's life. And that child knew no better. He was 20 months old. And to him, this is what he deserved.
Yes,
he didn't know any better.
That's how I see it. We're giving the child a voice.
That's
and
it.
Sometimes when I see in comments, they're not being professional. Vigilantism isn't professional. It's in your face. That's the whole point. You know? So when they say, gosh, I can't believe they're acting redneck. Well, believe it, because that's what gets attention.
Yeah.
I had to do the same thing.
I know. I've seen, I didn't even know of that YouTuber, Savage Media. Somebody sent me a message and was like, girl, they are talking about y'all. Y'all are redneck, hillbillies, crackheads. And I was like, I did expect the hate, but what we were out there doing was just being a voice and letting Leilani feel uncomfortable.
Right.
We wanted her to feel uncomfortable because it's time for her to feel threatened, to feel uncomfortable, to feel scared, because that's what her children felt their whole lives.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And thank you for spending your time and energy and everything that you've done on this case for him.
Yes, ma'am. I would have been out there today, but like I said, they're on Tybee, so there's no point on being out there and aggravating the neighbors, because that's what it would be. But the fact is, they do have a march set up for tonight at 4:00.
Like a vigil?
Yeah. Let me see if I could find it on my phone.
Okay.
Her name is Mari Maddox on Facebook, and it's MARIMADDOX. She actually set up one of the discussion boards for Quinton. And she is setting up a protest for baby Quinton. It just says Chatham Parkway, so I don't know if there's a direct location. I would have to ask her, but it says today at 4.
Okay. I'm going to have my husband drop that in chat.
Okay.
Let's see, Dolly and Bullhorn was fired this morning, Sarah said. And she said, well, she is somewhat local. I support locals for standing up for what they believe and what is right. I bet a lot complaining about them would be out there. That is so true. If it were their child and they were being, somewhat ignored, because in my particular case, I felt like I wasn't being heard. And sometimes as a mother, I had to be heard.
That's right.
So I turned to social media. And so props for being a strong female and doing that. It's just an urging thing that you feel you need to do as a mom.
Exactly. And that's how I looked at it. I'm a mom of 3. From the very beginning, when she claimed he went missing and the child's father took him, and, it was story after story, and it took her so long to report him. I'm like, if one of my children, which granted, my baby right now is asleep right here in this room next to me, and I already know that, but when all 3 of them are together and it goes quiet, it's like, what's going on? I have to look. So what was she doing? No, he was already disposed. He was disposed at 1:00 in the morning. He wasn't even in that play plan. She made it look like he was there because she knew that her boyfriend checked on the kids before he went to work in the morning. So she had already taken care of his body before anybody got up. It was just, she had to dispose of what was at the home that could have possibly had evidence in it in her own trash can. That's why.
I was going to ask about that. Was there anything missing from the room, like items from the playpen? I wonder. Did they luminol?
They did. After they drained the pool, because this is my theory, they haven't released yet what exactly happened to this baby. And this is just how I feel, or what happened to this baby. This is not like confirmed information, but she's a drug user. So either she gave this child something to go to sleep so that she could, enjoy her high evening.
Casey Anthony did, chloroform or whatever. Yeah.
And it was too much. Right. And she discovered that at 1:00. She went and he wasn't breathing no more. Or he got into her stuff.
Right.
And she discovered him at 1:00. I'm wondering if she took him and threw him into the pool and was going to possibly say, oh my gosh, he got out, he drowned. And she probably was like, oh gosh, this isn't going to pan out. So I think she pulled him out of the pool. And, that's when she put him in the trash can or in the trash bag. Now, this is just what I'm thinking, just because of information that I'm getting from certain people on the type of person she was. And then that's when she decided she was going to dispose of him, but not in her own trash can. So she went and she disposed of him. She came back home. She made it look like he was still in the playpen. After Danny went to work, she went ahead and cleaned everything up and threw it out because they came and checked the pool specifically.
Did he have clothes on or pajamas or boots or anything like that?
He claims that he had a Sesame Street shirt on with a pair of shorts. Being that he hasn't been found and he's not going to be found intact, they haven't confirmed that yet.
And I guess no shoes or anything, no flip-flops or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And they haven't found a blanket?
They haven't released if they found anything at the dump.
Right.
The only thing that they found, and that was confirmed, was vomit or blood in her vehicle. That's why her vehicle has not been returned. And then after they did the pool, they went inside and taped off everything and did the luminol. And somebody that I know that's close friends with the family said that there were several bags of evidence that were removed that day.
I want to throw this out there. Put the trigger warning up, please, honey. You're asleep at night, and let's just say your husband has a black light he happens to turn on, and you see that luminol every damn where. Could you imagine that?
No, not at all.
Do they have a cleanup process, or is the luminol left? I mean, could you imagine waking up in the middle of the night, and then you look around the room, and there's all...
My thing is, as that grandmother who now found out that her grandchild was murdered in that house, I wouldn't be there.
No, I know.
I would have already called out a demolition crew.
Yeah, same here. I always wondered about that.
Like, nobody's going to want to buy that house. That's like the Watts family, you know, that house is still empty to this day.
That house is haunted.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that one's going to be too. And I mean,
Yeah.
they're sweet little spirits, but that's bad juju in my eyes. Like, I'm not going to want to move there with my family where a 20-month-old, an innocent 20-month-old child who, you know, was killed by their own mother in the home.
So what is your interaction with the media? Have they come like mainstream media, not like YouTubers, but has mainstream media picked the case up and came and given a pretty good coverage of it, you think?
Yes. WTOC and WSAV, which are our local news, they've been out there every day. They were out there yesterday when we were protesting, and they had nothing but good things to say about us. We watched the news feed. You know, they were like, look, the community is getting upset. They're gonna speak.
Yeah.
And you know, that's all we want. We want justice for Quinton. We want to be able to have an actual memorial site that people can go and leave things at. And
a bench or something. Yeah.
This family doesn't care about their own flesh and blood. You know, like I said, just out partying. And they have been partying for days on end at that very house with multiple house guests coming in. So it's kind of nice yesterday to see that we threatened enough people that they were not coming there.
How were they received in public? Did people realize who they were?
Oh yeah, they're watched. That's why the chief of police doesn't believe she's a flight risk. She's the most hated woman in this county right now. All eyes are on her. She can't go anywhere. And just like I said, nobody knew that she had left that house yesterday until we all got a tweet from a local who's like, hey, she's at Stingrays on Tybee Island with her mother and they're drunk. And we're like, and then, I mean, this is how well she's watched. They knew exactly what hotel she was staying in. Exact room. People are watching her.
I wonder if anyone said anything to them while they were partying.
I would, if I could be a fly on the wall around them. I'm glad that I've never been in their presence just because I have no filter. And how they are handling this situation, just, you know, fake it till you make it. You know, they're not even faking it. You know,
it sounds like some sociopath definitely
exactly,
going on there.
All of them. Well, they all come from a criminal history. The grandmother, you know, has an extensive criminal history, and then the older brother Quinton, which is who baby Quinton is named after. He's in prison for murdering somebody himself, and now you got Leilani, and then Paul, which is the youngest brother. He's, you know, as we hear, an accessory to the crime. So I don't know if he was up during it and freaked out with her or whatever, or, you know, helped her clean up. I don't know. And then she does have an older brother, but he's kind of sane. His name is Joe. So he's kind of the normal one in the group. And we seen him there yesterday, but he did not say anything to any of us. He was not rude or disrespectful. It didn't look like, and he was there when they weren't there. So I don't know if he's there maintaining stuff, because I know that he does their lawn care and stuff. So I don't know if we just caught him on a day that he was there and he was maintaining what he normally does.
Have you seen anyone like from a church come?
I have not. I know that a lot of people have gone to Diana's, which is the babysitters, and they've prayed with her.
Okay. Have you guys formed any sort of bond like that where maybe y'all will vigil at night?
I do want to do something. It's more or less right now we're just out there trying to get our voices heard for Quinton, and the fact that she, you know, the mother needs to be arrested for something. Mm-hmm. You know, she should not, or an ankle bracelet that says, hey, you can't come and go as you please. You can't live your best life. You know, you can't drink, you can't party. But once that they confirm that they have enough remains, and it's confirmed that basically, because they can't right now even write a death certificate because they don't have anything to declare him deceased.
Wow.
So once they do that, I think it's going to turn more into a vigil.
So, what is y'all's plans today? What are y'all how are y'all handling this now that they're at a hotel? Are y'all moving, picking up and moving, or going to the police department? Or are you going to stay camp there, or what are your plans?
Today's main focus is going to be at the Chatham County Police Department. I did ask if there was any exact location, but I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to be today. Okay. I know there's a lot of speculation and comments that were on Dolly's or Savage Media. She was saying that Georgia taxpayers' money are paying for them to stay on Tybee. No, they paid for that out of their pocket. Police did not pay for them to be removed from their home. Police, like I said yesterday, they were very supportive of us, and they were just like, hey, you guys, like, here, we're going to give you the rules. You got to stay out of the street. You can't go in their property. Don't instigate, any fights with, this, and this. And they were great every time that they showed up, because, of course, neighbors just kept calling because cars were driving by and beeping their horn because they were excited that we were out there. But, I mean, the cars beeping their horn were louder than us. That made you call the cops, but we're not in the car beeping the horn.
So are people riding through and dropping off things for him? They are?
They are. And they were actually handing them to us to take up to the memorial.
That's awesome. That's support. Yeah.
There was a lot of support. There was a tow truck driver who rode through and shined his light on the house so that you could still see the memorial when it was dark last night. There was a truck driver who came through and he beeped his horn all the way down the street. A neighbor did call the cops on him.
Were y'all getting DoorDashed food and stuff?
Dolly and Bullhorn Betty were. My mom lives down the street, so she had my babies. So I kind of left around 7:30, I want to say, because I got to get them home and in bed and ready for school. So, but one of my friends made a comment because, they're accused of being high drug users. So she was like, sorry, you can't get your meth DoorDash tonight. And of course that, everybody was dying laughing because they, like we said, I made a comment and said, how are y'all sleeping at night? And one of the neighbors actually, I don't know who it was, and I don't think they were like right by, but they were like, you don't know they're meth heads? And I was like, are you kidding me? And they were like, they partied every night since this child has gone missing.
Wow.
They've had
the people coming in and out that are visitors to them, are they hollering out, or are they just coming in and leaving and not saying anything?
Yesterday when I was there, nobody said it. I got there after the altercation that happened with the other group that was there. There was a guy that was with that group, and he was very vocal. But when I got there, like I said, Billy Joe was leaving. She sped out of there super fast. There's been a black Dodge truck that's been in and out, and they kind of say smart things like, don't record me, don't take a picture of me. It's like you're on the street.
Right.
Like, you already know everybody's live on their phone, so
right. I'm not the plug.
Yeah. Don't take a picture of me.
Oh my gosh. When they do get visitors, are they all hours of the day and night? Do you know?
Yes.
They are.
And Bullhorn Betty and Dolly have gotten that all on live. I mean, it's been one day, I think there was like 10 or 15 cars over there. There were cars parked outside of the gate over there. And I was like, what? Why are these? Like, they're just.
What the hell are these people thinking that are hanging out with them?
If it was me, my mom would have dragged me up and down the road.
Yeah.
Like, if I did something, like, I used this the other day. I know that my mom loves me, but when I had grandchildren, that love totally changed, and it went to them grandchildren. You know what I mean? There's a different type of love. If I would have done something to one of her grandchildren, lied about it first, then confessed to you, I wouldn't be here.
I know, right? I
Then
can't.
my mama would be the one targeted, but I'm a grown woman, you know. I did what I did, and she.
Right. It
So
speaks volumes the character of people that they hang with, you
yeah,
know.
it
So
definitely does. Like the guy this morning, and he was like, "Billy Joe's been my friend for years, and you know we're gonna let GBI and FBI handle this." And I mean, Billy Bullhorn, Betty, and Dolly, they were great when they said, um, if she's your friend, then you should know, and we're gonna let them do the investigation. So you know what's going on.
right, right, right. Are they thinking that there might be more than one? Because it sounds like maybe she had help with the disposal. Do they think that there might be more than just her being charged with something? What is the
I'm
story
pretty
on the
sure
street?
I'm pretty sure that Billy Joe she's gonna be charged with something because she had custody of these children and she neglected that custody agreement that she had. And I get it. I actually supported her and I stood up for her because she was a grandmother. This is her daughter. And in
Yeah.
her eyes, she didn't think that her daughter would do anything that would harm her her own children. But at the same time, she was trying to help her to develop a relationship with her children. But she didn't go about it the right way. She left for
Right.
weeks at a time. It wasn't like, I'm going to leave for 2 or 3 days. And, I understand where Billy Joe is coming from. Her husband was supposed to be there. Leilani's brother was there. The kids were to go to daycare. And from what I understand, the husband left a day early for going out of town. The brother was there. And from what I hear, he has not been charged, but there is possibility of accessory to a crime is what I hear about the brother. And then of course the boyfriend, but the boyfriend was asleep. So
Plus, he was cleared with the whatchamacallit, the lie detector test too.
that's it. Yeah.
So
And his
wow.
phone and the lie detector and all of his locations that morning were all confirmed. So.
Well, does anybody in chat have any questions for Savage Mama here? Thank you, Savage Mama, for being a voice for baby Quinton.com says. Sarah says Dolly and Bullhorn were awesome. Yeah.
I agree.
I was curious, do they have a porta potty out there for you guys? What happens when they're
No, and I told them if I had gone out today, I was going to put a diaper on because I was like, oh my gosh, like, and like I said, none of the neighbors are nice, so it's not like they're like, hey,
come on over here, yeah.
None of them are nice, so thank God my mom lives down the street. So I don't know how Dolly and
I don't know. I was wondering about that. Yeah. We have a question here for you. Haley Martin asks, have they found some remains? Would you go back over that again?
So I got a message yesterday in my messenger. It has not been released, but it was between a friend and a police officer. And they stated that they found pieces of him, but he's not all in one location. He's all over the place. So they haven't found enough. So what I'm thinking is it's a very small portion. Like it's probably not even enough to make a bone. So
because of the trash compacting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they do believe that, I mean, they're siphoning through this trash. They're grading it. They're siphoning through. They're gonna go over this trash multiple times, and they're gonna find enough evidence, and she will be charged.
Are they allowing volunteers to help with that, or is that strictly law?
It's strictly FBI. It's not even Chatham County Police Department. It's FBI. From what I understand, they called some FBI agents from Atlanta and Quantico. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, Quantico's Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah. So they called in some FBI agents from Atlanta and Quantico.
Okay, and then let's see. Let's keep it 100%. Danny was leaving that relationship situation with Leilani.
Yes, it was confirmed from a couple different sources that he had been cheating on her anyway, and that they had some problems going on. So I'm pretty sure he's already noticed that she's a psychopath.
Would that have been some motive?
I don't think so, because Quinton's not his.
Right.
Sky, the 5-month-old, is his. And I think she knows, being that was the current person she was with, that if she had done something to Sky, she wouldn't be here either.
Okay, let's see what else. Do I have any more questions over here for you? And make sure I get everybody's question. Aviator 99 says, I wouldn't be partying with my daughter when the town is searching the landfill for my grandson.
Oh, can you imagine the feud that all of us felt this morning when we found that out? Like, people are mad at us for protesting, but at the same time, this woman is out partying with her mother while FBI agents are out here grading and siphoning through a landfill. And you have nothing, no feeling.
Have they publicly said she is a suspect?
The mother, Leilani?
Yes, they have.
She's the primary suspect.
Wow. She obviously knows that they think that.
From what I heard, she confessed.
This lawyer that she has, is he prominent in the community?
I don't know who he is. I haven't even seen him yet.
Okay. Is he criminal?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe he was at the conference yesterday, is what somebody had stated. And that's why most of the questions that were asked, they were unable to answer because of the lawyer being present.
Okay. Well, so she lawyered up fast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She knows she's guilty.
Watts never even lawyered up, did he?
No, he didn't.
She must have been, her wheels were turning as this was happening for her to lawyer.
She doesn't remember. She doesn't remember, and she's, psychosis and all that. No, I'm sorry, but if you knew to lawyer up.
Well, they'll test her for all that. You can't fake that crap in 2022,
Yeah, exactly. So
good luck with all
that. There were rumors going around that she had checked herself into Georgia Regional, and that was incorrect. They're trying to take the eyes off from the home, but as you can tell, it doesn't matter where they are. People are going to know.
Okay, I have a question. Have they found out who Quinton's father is yet?
His name is Bubba Moss. He lives in North Carolina. I don't think he has any close relations to Quinton. Nobody's even seen him post about Quinton on his Facebook or anything. Let me see. This is him.
Oh, okay. Has no one seen him or talked to him or anything?
Nobody has.
Wow.
The only one that has actually spoken out of the fathers of these children is the oldest son, Zane. His father's name is Cody Wharton, Wharton, Warton. He has been the only one that has actually spoken out.
Okay, and then I have another question asking, what is the lawyer's name? Haley Jones is asking.
I don't know. I haven't had any interactions with the lawyer or seen the lawyer. I'm pretty sure that if she goes on and messages Jimmy Jams TV or Dolly Vision, that he may know, because they've been at that house, like I said, day in and day out, and they've watched the lawyer come in and leave. Okay,
and then Panthera says Billy Joe needs a lawyer, Paul needs a lawyer, and Tommy needs a lawyer.
I don't think any of these lawyers are going to do any good for us, to be honest.
Done is done,
Yeah.
Done is done.
Exactly. If they get away with anything, then we really got a crooked we really have a crooked system.
Every time they leave, they could be disposing of things.
Exactly. But I think, to be honest with you, when they came in and did that really thorough search, they taped up those windows, I think they were going through and they took everything that they needed, that they've got enough.
Wow. Okay, let's see. Look how hard Letitia Staunch has tried to appear mentally ill, but they found her competent 3 times, Alicia Turner says. Aviator says client lawyer privileges. Is that why we don't know the lawyer's name?
I think it is a family friend.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, from just speculations and what I heard yesterday from some of the comments, Billy Joe used to be a prostitute back in the day. So somebody did make a comment about, are you giving sexual favors for these lawyers that are so close to you? Like I said, that was just a comment from somebody, but people know things about this family that I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to know about this family.
That brings me to the question, has it been discussed whether he may have been trafficked?
That was in the beginning, but all the evidence has led to that Quinton is deceased. He's definitely not here. He's definitely in that landfill.
Okay. And then Miss Kirby says, go girlfriend, you're doing well. Thank you, Miss Kirby. Let's see. I think those are all the questions. Well, I appreciate you letting me pick your brain for an hour.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
For coming on.
I've kept up with this case. It's touched my heart. Like I said, I'm a mama of 3 myself. They drive me absolutely crazy, but I could not imagine hurting them, So I just want justice. I want her. I want it to be an example in our community that you can't get away with things like this.
Right. Set a precedence now.
That's right. In stone.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and let you go and end this live. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, and it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Bye-bye.